and do all this before we go live. Oh, we're live.
Okay.
Oh, let's get our view sorted out. You prefer that one, don't you? Yeah? Yeah? We can always zoom in if we're feeling brave. There we are. Whoa!
Yeah, I'm pretty easygoing. I don't really care.
There we are.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Wow.
Are we live? Oh, we're live. Oh, look at that. You were zooming in and out live. I got her laughing and cooking up a storm here already, guys.
What are we doing? Teresa Collins.
Yeah, well, we're deciding to talk on camera again together. We like to talk on video, so why not on camera?
Just have a chat and just broadcast to millions of people in the world.
Yeah, why not? Love attraction.
One day I'll be able to get this right. This is the 12 trials of the law of attraction, and we're on trial 12, the last one.
Holy samolies! We did it. What a long, strange trip it's been.
Kicking and screaming, we've been bringing people through these trials. The people who are watching here on YouTube and on Facebook, they just don't know the reality of it, what happens behind the scenes when we have to do our own stuff and help other people do it too.
Yeah, but I guess that's the point, right? If you're determined, you're determined. Just don't give up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow. This is the High Vibes trial. Trial 12, the High Vibes trial. And the sideline is, there's no such word as can't. So you can't believe all the things that are going wrong in my life. How can I possibly be happy? I can't. Yes, you can. There's no such word as can't. Aim higher than the note and you'll get there. And that's a kind of reference to the vibratory scale and this law of resonance stuff. And I've got my nice little diagram presented here by a friend of mine, just to give them a little insight into, I think it's David Hawkins.
Love, reason, acceptance, willingness, negativity, anger, fear, shame, and guilt.
Yeah, right down in the doldrums. But also what he's put here at the bottom is more ego, and at the top, less ego. So he's kind of doing that analogy that the less we're operating from ego, the more happier we are.
Yeah, and that makes sense. Let's talk about ego really quick before you move through that, Jen. A lot of people think ego is, I'm the greatest. Look what I can do. But ego is more like a super overprotective mummy. And it's like, no, don't go do anything. No, just stay here comfortable. We know it's crappy, but just stay here. It's comfortable. And so ego is what's keeping us small. And it's having a really hard time right now because the world is changing so fast. So ego is really trying to keep us safe because the world is like really crazy. So ego is a huge part of everybody's life right now. Its intention is really good, but it's keeping us stuck and it's keeping us hanging on to things that don't serve us because we're just hanging on to anything for security and comfort. And as we're moving into this time of letting go, because we should be letting go at this time, ego is freaking out because what do you mean you're letting go of that? I know it sucks, but you're letting go of it. So it's ego is a beautiful thing trying to protect us, but not necessarily letting us shine our life or move into the next phase.
Identity. Have you got Facebook on? Because I can hear it echo.
I don't think so.
Maybe it's me. Is that why they say come out of Facebook when you're broadcasting?
No? Oh, I might. Hold on. No, I don't think so.
No, it's not me.
Okay, let me see.
Okay.
Does that work now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. It was me. I did it.
That's okay. So ego, it's kind of our identity is all wrapped up in it, isn't it? And I always say ego's fine. It's the negative ego that we have to watch out for, because that kind of, in my estimation, lies to us to keep us safe, lies to us to tell us about the spider, and that if we do this, everything will be fine, when in actual fact, it's just struggling for survival itself.
Yeah, I don't know if it lies to us, but it definitely stretches the truth and manipulates it. I think the reason it is so powerful is it's not actually lying, it's stretching.
It doesn't get to exist, does it, if we kind of rise above it? And that's why I know we're talking about it almost as if it's a little demon, but a good demon in a way, because it's protecting
I love
our
my ego.
identity.
Yeah, I love my ego.
It's also
Ego and I have a great relationship.
Yeah. It's only the negative part of it where sometimes that's acting against our interests. For example,
but ego comes up for a reason. So if you can understand, like you look on your chart with the reason and then come into the love instead of come into the negativity, that's when you find that. I'm teaching this about shadow sides on December 12th because a lot of people have got this kind of negative connotation about ego, and they start to panic and don't listen to it. And then ego just gets louder and louder and screams because you're not paying attention. So it's, yeah, well, cool. But I talk for another day. We're talking about can't today. The word can't. In my humble opinion, if you think you can't, you can't. If you think you can, you can.
Yeah, it's all up entwined in your belief system as well, isn't it? So if one person can do it, I always go back to the 4-minute mile. Not something I'm thinking of attempting myself anytime in the near future. Though as soon as it was done, lots of other people thought, well, if it's possible, why can't I do it? Why can't I beat it? As soon as something is possible, those with an open mind will then strive to accomplish it. And so some of us have to go first.
Yeah, some of us have to be that pioneer, eh?
Yeah. That's why you're on here, Teresa. How do we get happy?
How do we get happy? You don't get happy, you just are happy. Oh, that's the thing. It's not a get. A get is a chasing. It's look at the ways you are happy, Jenny. We talked about that last time. Where are you happy?
Yes. I like to use the term happier because it stops people from thinking it's a destination they'll get to when they've got the money or the lover or the house. That's not once you get there, there's something else that you want, isn't there? But I want you to talk about how important that vibration is, because that's what this high vibes trial is all about. And it can kind of seem a bit superficial to say, "Oh, just get happy," and it's so intensely personal for each one of us, isn't it?
Well, yeah. And I've experienced that myself too, Jen. Like I seem pretty happy, but I've had moments where I've been stuck. We did the healing once and I got stuck in the rut. And I had to do some serious work. I had to clean, I had to clear, I had to call into my guides, I had to have a shower, I had to really shift my state, really do these things to raise my vibration before I could even think about somewhat feeling normal. And then I had to raise it again to get back to this happy state. This is my regular state, but every now and then I go in the little crevices.
Well, it's true happiness. It's not false. And as you've said, it's about moving through, like with grief, moving through the pain, moving through the stuff, not ignoring it, not being falsely positive. Yeah, I know this terrible thing's happened, but I'm still happy. And in that situation, because the great thing about these broadcasts is that we share our personal stuff. And talking about ego and matching it to what you've just said, hear the voice, matching it to what you just said. Because I wanted to help, and as you recognised, you were the only one that could do it. You were the only one that could pull yourself out. Because I wanted to, then my ego was all kind of, but I wanted to do that for you. And I remember you saying, I have to do this myself. And I thought, oh, but I want to do it. I want to do it. And then I realised, oh, that's ego. That's ego.
Yeah, and I'm not unusual. Everybody really has to find their own happiness. As much as you try to help others be happy, they need to find the be happy.
Yeah.
Right? It comes from within. It's not something that you pick up. It's not something that others can provide for you. They can help you be happier. They can enhance your mood. But the core of the happiness has to come from you. It's something you feel.
It can be a bit contagious, though, can't it? I was on a very serious very serious call yesterday. Very serious, with a Finnish lady. And I've got some Finnish friends, and excuse me, Finland people, you're not always known for your humour. Well, it was a really serious call. And started to, you know how I burst into song sometimes?
Yes.
She was talking about health and vibration of the cells, etc. And she said, in a very serious way, I love her. She says, I don't know if you've heard this, but there is this little children's song that goes something like, every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is joy. Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is joy. I'm so happy that every little cell in my body is well. I'm so happy that every little cell in my body is well. I just can't stop singing this song now.
I love it.
I wake up with it. I go to sleep with it.
Oh, it's fabulous. And now we've shared it with everybody. Everybody now.
But I thought that's a really good way of saying things, because when you're raising your vibration and you're genuinely happy, grateful, full of the joys of spring, then your cells respond, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Cells respond. So you can understand if somebody knows that they've suddenly got this illness, or that they're worried about some impending decision that's out of their control or whatever, that conversely, because everything is a duality, that the very cells of our body not being happy would be to the detriment of the health of the entire body, wouldn't it?
Right. Yeah. And definitely that happiness and that joy and that laughter can heal magnitude faster. You froze there, honey. Yeah, there you go. You're back. So is it contagious? Yeah, I think the vibration's contagious, up or down, right? You think you walk into a room and everybody's, even if you are happy, you start to float down.
But I think this is the rules of engagement, Teresa, isn't it? Because sometimes when we're really in a mood, a dire mood, then somebody being all happy-go-lucky, we might not let it in. We might actually want to into that mood. You don't understand how bad this is.
Right.
You know, but it's kind of a skill to weave your way in there and to watch the collapse of the mood, because it takes a lot of energy to maintain a dire mood when somebody else is all happy-go-lucky. And there's a point, because I'm good at this, you know I am, there's a point where you recognise, I'm just going to give in. Like, she's trying to trick me into being happy. I know what she's trying to do. She's trying to trick me into being happy. And then all of a sudden, I am. Yay! Yay! But I want people to understand what I'm talking about here, if it's all possible for me to convey, is that you work energetically. So regardless of the words that somebody's spouting and how bad something has been to them, you are able to just imbue that positive vibe across the world, as we've witnessed. I've witnessed. You do it across the world. It's that non-locality, that quantum thing, that if you know somebody needs that and is receptive, which has shocked the hell out of me, excuse me for saying so, that somebody's receptive. It's as if they've got that little antennae and they think, well, I don't know this person, but I think she'll be able to help, so I'll let it in. And then that person's transformed because they're riding that vibe that you're projecting. Could you talk a little bit about that? Because that's just fabulous, and I don't understand it myself.
Yeah, no, I think you've kind of got it with riding that vibe. It's almost like a wave. And gratefully is something that really came, it's really only the last couple of years, but I think it's because technology has kept up. And also, like you said, if you think you can, you can. So my first experience, actually, no, my very first experience was probably about 6 years ago. And I worked with a gentleman in Fargo, Dakota. And it was extremely powerful. And I didn't even know where Fargo was. And
people are Googling it as we speak.
Yeah. Well, and it just opened up that ability that, hey, wait, I can reach right into your living room no matter where you are and give you a hug, basically a vibrational hug, to connect in this grander way. And once I knew I could, there was no stopping me. There was no limitation.
Yeah, it's a couple of times when we've been co-presenting with someone else and they haven't turned up and you said, it's okay, they're sleeping. Oh, how do you know? And yes, they are, you know.
Oh, do you remember? I never did share this with you. Do you remember when you told me to move a pendulum across?
Yes.
See if you can move it from here. I did it on my class. I moved all 9 at the same time. So all 9 people in all places in their home, I was able to move their pendulums at the same time. I was like, oh, I didn't know I could do that, but I can.
Oh, that could have all sorts of practical uses.
It was just incredible. But if you think about it, TV's done this forever. TV has reached into the home and helped people. How many after-school specials, how many Sunday Disney movies have we felt truly touched by? How many times have we really got into a movie and experienced their characters and felt their love and experienced their emotion? This is not rare. It's just a different way I'm doing it.
I do want to bring this up now that you've mentioned it, because I spoke to someone the other day and I watch any TV I watch, it's through the computer. So there's only certain shows that I can watch that are live. But the good side of it is if I miss a show, it's there on the computer so I can start it whenever I like. But there's something within me, and I know time's an illusion and all of that. There's something within me that likes to watch a premiere film or something at the same time as other people. I like watching things live, and I know there's no need to, but I think I'm in that kind of arena that you're talking about, that even though I don't have many friends, even though I don't know many people that are watching it at the same time, that idea that there's a mass of people watching this at the moment, it's kind of beguiling to me, rather than I'm just going to press play whenever I want to and watch it.
Yeah, it's connection.
Yeah,
it's connection. You're part of something.
Yeah,
you're part of something bigger, right? It's the reason that people get on and watch the Emmys and the Grammys and they, and the Super Bowl commercials. They want to be part of that something. And it's great. It's all about that search for connection.
I suppose it's even more so when there's a competition. I mean, do you watch British TV? Have you got Strictly Come Dancing over there? Ooh. Oh, you're missing out. It's a competition where lots of famous people who perhaps haven't ever danced before, like newsreaders, sports people, they take part in a dancing competition. And I just bring it up because there's a certain vibe that seems to happen when the voting takes place. And we've also got I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. That's our other big show where explain that in 2 minutes, Jenny. Well, 30 seconds. Famous people go on and do bush tucker trials. They have to do various, sometimes degrading and often adventurous tasks.
Oh, that sounds fun. So you get to watch basically the royals dig in the mud.
Yeah, and testicles, animal testicles, and all sorts of things. And put the hands.
Talk about taking people off a platform and bringing them to our level.
People do love it. We get either the Strictly Come Dancing crowd who are watching that competition and voting, or we get the I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here crowd. And it's like football teams, because they're on at the same time. Are you a Strictly person or are you a jungle person?
Interesting.
It's interesting. And there is this vibe, and we all know about the kind of group hallucination that takes place when people are watching football matches and any big sports events. They like to, and what's happening there? They can't actually go there. They have to watch it on TV, And even the players are feeling it because they're not getting the support of the audience.
Yeah, it's totally different.
Time. Yeah,
it's dampened, I guess. It's like a dampened feeling.
Well, I wonder, because we have watch parties and things. I wonder if it's up to us or general public that wants that camaraderie and that group experience to organise the watch party, so they're all watching the football at the same time and they can communicate with each other and go, yay,
Yeah, I think a lot of people are doing that. And, Jennie, that's why I started the online academy, because a lot of people are looking for that, not just watch party, but that like connection, that collection of common interest, right?
Yeah.
So getting together with other people. And, on the Chakra Course that we're teaching, it's a fabulous group of people that are connecting and inspiring and contributing to what we're teaching there. So it's a cool thing.
It's amazing to me with that, because as I do it, I'm just seeing your face and my face as we're presenting. And then when you send me the file for editing, I see everybody's faces and I see all their reactions to things. And I think, oh, that's so much more. It's adding so much more to my experience.
Yeah.
Back, think, oh, they really like that bit. And did they get that bit?
Maybe you can change your view, because I see that the whole time. So change your view when we're in the Zoom.
It's because I'm on my phone.
Oh,
so it's only So
that's right.
If it showed everybody, there'd be little. But it's amazing.
Yeah, it's really neat though, and it is wonderful to see how people interact. And we talk vibrational connections, but also with that whole word can and can't, right? I guess I fell into being able to do it just because of need, right? One of my courses was supposed to be in person and it wasn't ideal. I think it was even a snowstorm. And so I tried it online and I found it was just beautifully connected. And now then we have this beautiful community tribe. I have people taking 4 or 5 different courses together.
Well, you've got people all over the world now, not just in Canada. Yes. I've sent you a few. It's good, isn't it? That we
it is. And it's the different opinions, but also seeing that we're all the same. It doesn't matter where we are in the world. We are all the same. We're all looking for that connection and like.
I don't know if there's anybody quite like you, Teresa, honestly.
I'd be disappointed if there was. And I change.
Well, it's just going back to ego. We are all unique, though there is a very common bond. And I think we've been delighted and surprised that there are certain things that we have very particular in common. And I think that's what we're talking about, that there's this commonality to experience, and we're all wanting to experience things at a, dare I say, higher level now, more intense life experience. And to talk about vibration in the way that we are just shows how more comfortable we can be talking about these things to the general public, if you like. Because years ago, about 30 years ago when I started all this, it was talked about in whispers, else you'd get ridiculed. And I know you've gone through your own stuff of that and kind of got to a point perhaps where it wasn't important what people's reaction was. The work was more important than their reactions, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's funny. Like I think the most recent one, and it wasn't really that long ago, it was 2 years ago. I was in a business group with beautiful, very established entrepreneurs, and the owner really adored me, and he often referred to me as their company witch. So I did. We were practicing presentations on the computer. I can't remember what it's called right now. It's just got out of my head. Anyways, I did a full presentation on I was Glenda the Good Witch, and for a half an hour, all the ways that I am Glenda the Good Witch and how I can help you in your life. And I just figured I went it all the way, yeah. But new people would come and they'd be like high end, and he'd be like, "Yes, this is Teresa. She's our witch," and they'd be like, "Oh, okay." And this is a business group, so there's still a little bit of stigmatism.
There was remember you, though. That's the thing, isn't it? I mean, there's so many people in so many business groups that I would never remember, but I would have remembered somebody referred to as a witch. You know, that's the kind of being memorable is really important. But so, shall we talk about what to do, why to do?
Yes. Let's read some of the book. Okay, so let's give us some cheats here, Jen. How do people get there?
Well, you get there into the high vibes bracket by what to do, feel happier. It used to be easy, make it so again. Seek out happiness now. Why to do it? And this is where all the importance is, and this is why we want to share it with folks. When you feel down and you let yourself feel your lethargy, then your vibration, which remember is the energy signature you give off and how you attract that like stuff to you, loses power and you attract more of the same. Be aware that when you are feeling sad, the last thing you may want to do is seek out feeling better. That's the law of attraction in action for you. In having a mechanism to feel less sad and more glad, which is how I like to put it, more often your vibration changes and life changes to a more positive state. And I think hopefully that puts it in very simple terms, all this law of attraction stuff, that when we feel down, we often want to remain down and we attract that downness to us.
Yeah, and I don't know if we want to remain down, but especially if we live by ourselves or we have maybe a partner that's kind of negative as well, it's hard to pull yourself out of it if that's all you see in your environment.
And don't you find that the thoughts become magnetic, that 1 minute we're worrying about something current and then that seems to go, I remember a time when that happened before and then this happened, and it kind of becomes...
And you tend to attract those people that are like that as well. So then you have them coming, oh yeah, and my life was terrible too. Oh, and I remember when my life was... So then you have law of attraction, you're starting to attract more of that. It takes a solid effort sometimes to kick your butt out of it.
Yeah, and that's what we want to do. How to do it. I'm so glad you brought that up, Teresa, because how to do it. Catch yourself feeling good. Ooh. So I think when we're in the depths of it, it's quite tricky. So let's do it when we catch ourselves feeling good. So catch yourself feeling good or seek out good feelings and feel your increased energy. Recognize, really notice physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, that you actually feel lifted, energized, and more enthusiastic and active, more alive when you feel happy. Get happy. You have a mechanism that works for you that actively lifts your mood. You allow yourself the time and energy to experience the many emotions you are here to experience, and you bounce back quicker than before, recognizing the value of the learnings within them. That's what you were talking about earlier. You know, you're not going to be the whole time. To get genuine happiness, you have to kind of dip down occasionally and sort stuff out and then work your way back up, don't you?
How do you feel about that idea of smiling even if you're not happy?
Well, I've got a thing. What do you think first before we argue?
I think it works. I do think it works. I think that it's something in your brain when you, even if you're not really feeling it, and you're like, because I know sometimes when Tommy's really, he can't help but smile at me when I smile at him. Even if he's really grumpy, his reaction is a smile. So if I smile at him, he smiles back. And eventually I start to chip, right? And I get in there. So I do think there's something to it.
Because you can do the genuine smile and he knows it's a genuine smile. When we're doing courses, etc., the physiology can sometimes lead the way. So I've been doing all these business courses in the past, and I'd get people, as I was talking about it, and I purposely would make it serious, so that everybody got a straight face. And I'd ask them to put a pen or a pencil in the mouth. I'm going to get freaky with you, being as you've been talking about, and I'm going to put my magic wand in my mouth instead. So you put your magic wand in your mouth.
Because everybody has a magic wand. And if you don't, I sell them.
Just by stretching out the muscles. And then there's a person looking at you. Imagine all these business people saying, "What are we doing? I don't know. What are you doing? I don't know." And I got a pen. I don't know. What's the likeness for this? I really don't know. And there's something about, because, you know, do the micro expressions training, there's something about the unconscious recognizing that you're activating these muscles, that it says you should be happy now because your physiology is doing that. In the same way as in NLP, we get people to, you know, chest out, shoulders back, head up, and suddenly they're feeling more confident because their physiology is letting them know that they ought to be feeling more confident. And likewise, we get people do these little experiments to a confident person. I usually pick the largest, most impressive, imposing person in the room. I would tell the organisers that I didn't want to know the status of each person, because they'd soon let each other know, even if they're mixed up from different branches. And I'd pick the most imposing person, and we would talk them through hunching their shoulders, bending their spine, lowering their head, and then ask them how they felt. And they'd feel terrible just by altering their posture. Yeah, so yes.
You know, and that's so true, honey. You can see people that are really suffering that are like that. And they're, you know, and it could just be as simple of raising your head and pulling that starts that snowball into the good, right?
Yeah.
Because as you get, like, kind of kicks your ass, you get smaller and you start to.
And that's why it's so important, because I've seen a lot of people have real moments of intense happiness and not anchor it. And quite often I'll say, remember that, anchor it, you know, and sometimes it makes it fly away completely because I know what you're trying to do, trying to trick me into being happy, you know.
Yeah.
But they're really, I find more crafty ways now for the person to remember it, because the person needs to recognize that naturally by being happy, they're standing straighter, their head's higher, they're laughing, they've got lots of energy, and remembering that state so that you can re-engage with it.
Yeah, I always snap. When I'm super happy, I snap.
Ooh, tricks of the trade.
Anything like especially when I was first starting my business, and because I was really working on confidence, when I had that perfect moment, that excellent session, that transformation, that client was just wow, and hang on to it, I would snap. And then anytime I needed to bring back that, or before I went into something I was scared, I would just keep snapping. So I would bring that kind of into that next phase with me.
Well, the science of that is that you cannot experience two opposing states at the same time. You've got to go one way or the other. You can't experience two opposing states at the same time. And that is the basis, people, of how quickly we get people over phobias. It's as simple as that. Get into a positive state, either very, very relaxed or flowing love or appreciation, whatever. Get into that state and really, really anchor it. Keep it anchored while they face what used to cause them the fear. And then the physiology changes. It's if the brain goes, well, I'm supposed to be scared of this thing, but I'm feeling confident. How did that happen? Oh, it looks like I don't have that fear anymore. You know? I mean, the power.
Brilliant. Oh, I know. Don't you love being able to do this, Jen? Isn't this just like the best ever? And this is why I'm crazy happy, guys. Just so you know, I freaking love my life.
I know there have been moments of apprehension where I've gathered quite an audience and I'm doing something on stage where people who know me in the audience go on, Jennie, do that. Anybody got a phobia? Jennie can get rid of it. Oh, yeah. And so there'll often be a moment when a person's kind of reluctant to get over their phobia, and they're coming on stage and they're being cajoled by other people. And at that moment, you're talking about, when we talked about the negative ego earlier, they seem to absolutely hate me, because I'm possibly going to take away this thing. The negative ego comes up, and these very nice people get very animated, and I can't. I've got loads of stories, but at that moment, I'm really focused. I'm seeing them and sensing them as the person that no longer has the phobia. I know, like, you're kind of recognizing the shining light within them that wants to be free, no matter what's being said or thrown.
Yeah, and that, Jen, and that's actually a really valid point, because when we're talking about this can't word, when we can show them in therapy that they can actually do something, they start thinking, okay, well, where else can I do it? And it starts to open this opportunity, which then the law of attraction comes, because now you've got the possibilities, the confidence, the curiosity. Sometimes you just have to be curious.
Yes. Even if it's curious about somebody else. I mean, I don't know if it's happened with you, but a lot of my clients have come to me because of somebody else. Well, if you can cure him of smoking, he's been smoking for 40 years, I bet you can help me with my fear of flights.
It's only been the last 2 years that I've met strangers. Everybody before that was all referral.
Yeah. And I think it is that inner voice that says, go on, give it a go. You can overcome anything when you put your mind to it.
So when we're activating this, look at the people that have done it, right? When you're looking for what do you want to bring into your life, you want that house, that car, that amazing family that is happy and healthy and growing. Look where other people have it.
Yes.
Okay. Tell us some more of the book.
Right. I'm going to skip to the best bits. Resonance equals reality.
This is very important.
How can I feel happy about something I want when I don't have it to see, touch, hear, feel, smell, taste right now? How can I feel happy about it?
Well, and can we bring on this time of year? How can I be happy when the whole world is falling apart? How can I have happiness when the world is coming to an end? People really feel like this. It is not coming to an end, guys. Trust me. It is growing.
What separates you from the... Well, it's a very good point, Teresa, isn't it? Because instead of kind of seeing the world as it is, we all need to see the world as we want it to be. Did we want to keep traveling miles from where we live to the place that we work and sit in traffic and be with people we didn't particularly want to be with? Did we particularly want to be trapped in a job we didn't like because we had to pay the mortgage? Did we particularly want that life that we lived for so long?
That we didn't see kids, that we worked 40 hours a week, and then when we didn't, then they went to soccer 3 times a week. And, then they came home, ate dinner, had half an hour homework, and went to bed. That was the life.
I think it's time to realize that even people that don't think they believe in this stuff, they're part of the collective, and the collective decided, there was that tipping point, the collective decided, we don't want this anymore. We want something different. And so it's up to each and every one of us now to project the world that we want, rather than it's all going to pot, we want the old world back. What world do we want?
And to maintain it when the world opened up again. So the world opened up again and nobody learned the lesson. They just went back to the same, which is why we had the uni to shut down again. So this time, let's learn the lesson. What do we really want our world to look like in 2021? Where can we really find the balance? Where can we really put our priority of health? Where can we really not stress out anymore so our immunity is high? So no matter what comes to see us, we're going to be able to fight it.
So this book, I never thought this book would be as important as it is.
It really is right now.
It's not just about creating your own reality, which is kind of big enough for each individual. As a collective, we are all creating the reality right now. And so it's important to notice that what separates you from what you want is time and space. And as we know, we've had these discussions in other courses, that's kind of very relative. Einstein, thank you very much. Time and space. And if we go into the quantum world and that idea of non-locality, etc., that all collapses anyway. So what are we left with? I think we replace time with intensity. You may not have had something for a long time, such as the moment you were proposed to, or the time you won the raffle, or the moment your team won. You know the defining moments of your life and the intensity, the height, the peak of joy. And it's those times now to revivify that feeling state and to overlay it on the experience that we all want, rather than being sucked into the, oh, isn't everything terrible?
Right, because then we're attracting, and if you have 80% of the population now attracting these beautiful moments of love and joy and happiness and integrity, then guess what? The world's going to change. Our thoughts and feelings dictate our reality, Jen. This one particular trial is so important right now at this time in humanity. That I know you wrote the book many, many years ago, but thank you so much for designing it and speaking to everybody on such a real level of how it's so important right now.
Well, I'm sorry if I caused the world all these problems, but I really needed you all to kind of get up to speed, guys. So
you didn't cause it, but you're sure helping with the solution, my friend.
I'd really like, as it says in the book, to get people to forget that time creates closeness. Space and time creates closeness. We know that as therapists, we can transport somebody to the day they were proposed, to the first kiss, even to the first cigarette that they had, you know, where, depending on, these are defining moments, not necessarily happy or sad, but defining moments, moments of intensity that people can return to in a heartbeat. And so I think we need to forget about the whole time and space thing. Oh, that was a long time ago. You know, your mother died 10 years ago. You should be over it now. Okay. Or this time thing isn't really a factor. It's all about intensity. And knowing that, we can utilize that, because what is intensity? It's energy. It's verve, it's power. We're very powerful beings. Be intimate with the essence of what you think this object, experience, or person will bring you. Find ways to make yourself vibrate at the same level as that which you want by choosing experiences, feelings, and thoughts that resonate on the same level. I mean, that first bicycle you had could be your next sports car. You know, that kind of having transportation. For example, you want to be abundant about money, so feel your abundance about health. You know, these feelings are the same, even though the object of attention is something different.
Yes, they're interchangeable.
Yeah.
They are. That's a very, very super important point, Jen. So the feeling of joy is the feeling of joy, whether you're joyful about $1 million or you're joyful about a cupcake. Joy is joy is joy, right? And if you can only imagine a cupcake right now, that's okay. Because being joyful, really being joyful about that cupcake, right? Forget the rest of the world and just give them a minute, put a pin in it. But take a second today and be really joyful about that cupcake. And now you're going to start attracting that joy.
Yes. And it is finding joy in the ordinariness of life. I mean, we all know the power of gratitude. And if you're going to, if some people are watching this later on YouTube or whatever and thinking, oh, it's all right for you, you know, and I've got this going on, etc., recognize that it's usually when you don't have something that you remember how great it was. It's human nature. And nothing makes you more patriotic than living in another country for a while, for example. And kind of appreciating what you've got. don't get to the point where it's gone before you appreciate. Take a moment now to appreciate it now. Like you say, a cupcake, a bath, walking in the rain, you know, your favourite dog that might not be there forever.
Hugs. You know? Oh my goodness, how many of us miss hugs like crazy? I miss hugs so much.
Your resonance is imperative, not just important, imperative to shifting focus, to shifting up the scale, to shifting your reality into your most optimum of futures. And as we say, it's not just about you anymore.
No.
It's about everybody.
Yeah. Make, even though you may not understand how important your contribution is, every single echo of positivity right now is going to make a difference. It could tip the scales.
Yeah, you could be the one.
You could be the one if we're right on the edge, and you all of a sudden, I mean, they play with this in cartoons, right? It's that one last whew, and something falls. You could be that one, or you could be the one that starts it all. In value how important anybody who is watching this is. Like Jennie and I coming on here, this is all for free, guys. We really want to create this impact. This is for the joy of it. So grab it.
Absolutely. And every single person is important, and every single emotion you have is important, and your ability to shift focus onto something more pleasant and to express more appreciation in a genuine way to people around you, to foods and drinks, to activities that you've taken for granted before. This will have a wonderful effect, because it won't only affect your vibration, as you were saying with your interactions, Teresa, by giving that genuine smile, you're kind of bending people around to feeling better about themselves too. And so imagine that on a global scale.
And it's so easy to impact now. Even just being nice to the lady at the gas station. She was just like, oh, it's so nice to see happy people, because majority right now are not. So if you can switch that and then share that with her, and now she shares it with the next person shares it with the next person. I could have echoed 100 people today just by being nice to one.
Yeah, absolutely.
So cool.
I don't know if you've been watching any of the same videos I have. I'm sure they all come into our reality somehow, where the spiritual gurus are now saying everything's in flux. At this moment, we've kind of we've raised the resonance to a certain point that makes everything a lot better than it was even 10 hours ago, thank goodness. But we could slip again. And so we really are at this kind of vulnerable but powerful and opportunistic point where every single person's mood is affecting, and the heart coherence of the earth vibrationally, it's actually a crisis point. Though the good thing is we could really elevate very quickly if everybody.
Well, and it has the beautiful energy of Phoenix. From the ashes we shall rise. And if we all continue with that beautiful rising feeling.
And recognize that when you wake up in the morning, you're kind of in a nonplussed sort of state. And then you have like a download of information as you remember yesterday. And most of our thoughts today are the same as yesterday. Unless you're Tom. Wow, that's a wonderful thing that happened. Sorry. On a scale of 1 to 10, everybody check in with themselves. How good are they feeling? 10 meaning the best, most positive, hopeful, expectant of good fortune you've ever experienced. So put yourself on the scale. You wake up at a certain level, and as the day progresses, you either hold, lift, or decline. I just want people to have a recognition of that as they associate with the rest of the world, put the radio on or wash their face or whatever, see the postman, as you're saying just a word to a checkout girl, just speaking to somebody as you fill up with petrol, the car, not yourself, just by being nice to people, because as you say, there's lots of people living on their own now. And a word, a phrase that you say to that person could stay with them all day. They've got nothing else to distract them from it.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly, it's awful to say, but the negative phrases, and I've heard them out there, where somebody hasn't kept the 2 meter distance, or they're not wearing a mask or whatever, those stay with people too. So let's see if we can kind of redress the balance and just be nice. Be nice to each other. Just be nice. Raising the resonance. Where are you on the scale right now of 1 to 10? And it's constantly changing, but right now, where are you? It's about awareness and being able to know what your 10 is. And by the way, you don't really know where it is because you can be lifted higher. But think about where your 10 is and aim for that. Aim higher than a note and you'll get there.
And honestly, I don't wake up in a 10. Probably wake up in a 7.
Mm-hmm.
With the possibilities.
And I'm just finishing with the last bit here. There's lots more in the book. We're just picking out the good bits for you. My way or the highway.
Hold on a second. Let me just stop you there. There's a lot more good bits too. We're not just sharing all of it. Get the book.
Yeah, please. Do what works for you. You've been on the planet long enough and had enough experiences now to know yourself. You are different to others, and that's fine. We often join up with those who are different to us to explore other ways of being happy. Then we chastise them for their frivolity in simple appreciation of an ice cream or stupid joke or relaxing bath because it is not our particular way of enjoying life. So convince them that your way is better and maybe experiment with their way of loving life. It could be fun.
Yeah, I love diversity. I really do. I mean, obviously, look at how well we've connected, right? And all the differences. I love that. But yeah, enjoy it in others too. Enjoy it in yourself.
And at the end, I've got this little additional chapter. Come on, Jen. The
Day of Reckoning?
The Day of Reckoning, the reminders that go through all the trials very briefly. And, at the end of each trial, we've said, how will you know you've passed the trial? So this is how you know you've passed trial 1, how you know you've passed trial 2, how you know you've passed trial. So it's kind of a review of every single one.
Lovely. Excellent work. Excellent work. It was, oh my goodness, Jenny, thank you so much for sharing your book and letting us expand on it as we go. Anyone who just wants to buy The Law of Attraction, read it on their own, get into it, make sure you do it though, because it's pretty brilliant. It's not just something to read, it's something to do, something to live, to play with.
It isn't just read the book and it's done. Yeah. Like when we were doing the Chakra Course, you can't kind of say 10 years ago I balanced my chakras and now I'm good.
Yeah.
Well,
it's like saying I did an oil change, when I first bought my car. It's fine, right? So same kind of idea. I love it. We need constant maintenance. And it's the fun parts too. We get to expand, we get to grow, we get to learn new ways, we get to get efficient. But the great thing about Law of Attraction, it's like gravity. It's whether you believe it or not, it's happening. So why not start making it work for you? Right? I think that's the main thing I teach all of my clients, and it's something you and I share is it's going to happen whether you know it or not. So you might as well start being part of the solutions and enjoying the benefits of it.
But as you've also said, recognizing the intense impact we're all having on each other, even if it's a stranger that you see as you walk down the street now, we're all having much more of an effect. And you don't always have to say anything.
But you do almost have to now because you're wearing the mask, so you don't see even that smile.
I'm talking about you.
That's a little bit of a thing. You almost have to take it to that next step and say things like, have a wonderful day. Because we have the mask, you can't just share a smile anymore. You can't just share a hug. I used to hug strangers. I have a Care Bear onesie, and we were at a Halloween event. And people started coming up hugging me. And they were like, you are the best hugger. I was like that. I was the professional hugger of the Halloween event. I am seriously going through withdrawals. Actually, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll just get dressed up head to toe and just start hugging people.
Well, yeah, with the mask on and everything.
With the mask, full head to toe, and I'll just be like the hugger because people are missing it. That's actually a really damn good idea.
There is also, though, on a little bit more of a serious point as well, that energy of the hug that you can give across the world. Wouldn't it be great that people practice that as well? And knowing by your example that it works, because we all know it works the other way around. We all know when somebody is giving a full smile, but they're absolutely pissed off. We know it works the other way around. We feel their energy, wearing a mask or not. We know if somebody's in a dour mood. And so they also will feel it the other way around. If you're genuinely in a good mood and you're exuding it all, not only to the person that is your focus of attention, but your vibe goes out far from your body. We've done all these studies, and we've got all the
if you haven't taken our chakra course, go sign up for that.
Oh, it's amazing. It's all wearing orange, happiness, bright orange. Yeah.
I chose pink for love.
Yay. Because it's all frequency, it's all vibration, it's all energy, it's all very quantum, and it's all real. This isn't a fanciful idea anymore. If you ever thought it was, this is real and it's happening now. And we need to get all that positive energy gathered together and lift the world up.
Perfect. And if you guys need anything, Jennie and I both do private appointments. Jennie has tons of books out, guys. Just Google her as an author. You're going to have 43 now, I think.
We're going to have 43 now.
There's so many books to choose from and so many great ways to encompass her energy. And if you need help, just reach out. You can private message each one of us and book on our websites. What's your website, Jen?
JennieKitching.com.
Perfect.
But if you Google Hypnowoman, you'll find me too. And on YouTube as well with all the lovely videos.
She's everywhere. And I am Blended Spirit Wellness and Blended Spirit Academy now. Blended Spirit Academy. So proud. So find us. Reach out. And it was a pleasure. Thank you.
Yay. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Really enjoyed it. And I'm going to miss these. I'm going to be doing it anyway.
Well, I'm sure we'll cook up something else. We're going to finish the chakra course. I'm sure we'll cook up something in the new year.
Absolutely.
Something will be a brewing. Okay, everybody.
Do little quizzes on what they've learned and how they're doing with all this wonderful information we've shared.
Nah, that's too much like schoolwork. The proof is in the pudding, darling. The proof is in the pudding.
See how different we are, guys, and we still get on.
Okay. Love you all. Sending you light, love, and hugs. We'll talk